We may think sometimes that Asian countries were the least important of them all, but let there be no confusion that these cities suffer as much as the rest of Europe and America. For starters, we have the Sino-Japanese War of 1937, which was a sort of a Cold War thingy between China and Japan. The only difference is that they actually attacked each other. This war was an effort to keep Japanese influence out of China, but the funny thing is that after the revolution of China that ended dynasties, the last emperor ever, Puji, went on to rule over Manchuria, Japan. So we think that when it comes to power, there are no rules. You can say that Japan obtained karma for its sins, but in a way that no mankind had ever seen: the dropping of US atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Above all of this, there was still hope and inspiration going on in Asia thanks to the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi. He's one of the most iconic figures of the 20th century, and one of his achievements was leading India's independence with not violent movements. A year after this, Israeli and its independence will get a cost, the First Arab-Israeli War, which still causes a lot of troubles in the present. But let us not forget that the People's Republic of China was made, and finally made it easier to name the country. But with this, it was also created the Red Army, which is believed to be founded by Xu De. This was made to fight the nationalism and give all support to communism. So long for People's Republic.
The next years of the war were mainly peace. In Europe, we were able to see new eras, like the first women prime minister in England with Margaret Thatcher, and Queen Elizabeth, the British rule that continued until today. We also see the end of the Cold War with the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, leading to the German reunification in 1990, having as leader Richard von Weizsäcker, the president that restored German reputation and the one of the USSR in 1991, thanks to the efforts of Mikhail Gorbachev, the first democratically elected president in Russia. Finally, we are able to see the integration of the continent in the creation of the European Union in 1992. Asia was not behind. In 1978, Japan and China signed the peace treaty, ending with the years of rivalry. Great leaders like Mother Teresa and Aung San Suu Kyi, the one that won the Nobel Prize of Peace in 1991, were recognized by their humanitarian work. Also, Pacific political changes like Hong Kong reverting to China and the ascension of great leader Kim Il-sung to the head of the North Korean government took place. Finally, as the European alliance was formed, the Shanghai Five, the one that unified the major powers of the continent. And as the other continents, America was also in the process. Most of the negative events that occurred in this time, except from the Just Cause operation by the US in 1990, were accidents, like the nuclear accident in the 3 Mile Island, or the earthquake of 1985 in Mexico, or the Vargas tragedy in 1999. Finally, as in the other continents, unification treaties were also signed, like the NAFTA in the year of 1994 by the Canadian Prime Minister, the Mexican President Carlos Salinas de Gortari, who modernized the country, the American President George Bush, the successor of Ronald Reagan.
We saw the events that occurred in the 20th century have modeled the society in which we live today. In Europe, we are still able to see the European Union, the one that today has become an important economic, political, and cultural power. In Asia today, we have the result of the disputes that began between the US and the Arabs after World War II, while in America we can see that even though in the last year the relationship between Cuba and United States improved, they still have a strong line of division that was created in the Cuban Missile Crisis. At the end, we can see that Africa, the prosperous continent that was forming itself with economic support gained in the Cold War, today lives in hunger and poverty thanks to the lack of support that started after the end of this conflict. As we said, our reality has been formed by the history before us, so let's make it less bloody and more happy, because we are the new generation, we are the new legacy, we are the future.
Created using Part2.